So 3 or 4 years ago, I started my career as a producer. I put my beats on the internet and tried to sell them and make a living out of it. And in this video, I'm going to share experiences and things with you that I wish I knew back then when I just started selling beats. And I'm gonna share things with you that definitely gonna be very helpful to you if you're a beginning producer. Hello guys, my name is Madd and welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. As you saw in the intro, we're gonna talk about things I wish I knew. So the first thing I wish I knew back then is that in order to be a producer and maintain a life and a career as a producer, you have to make tons of beats. I'm talking like 3 or 4 beats a day. Like, I'm not joking. There are times that maybe you don't have to make beats for months and it's alright, but there are times that people want your beats, you need money, or something's coming up like a rapper's album needs to be completed in a certain time, and in those times you have to make a shit ton of beats, like genuinely. So I wish I knew that, and I wish I hadn't spent so much time on perfecting details that didn't matter that much. Now let me elaborate on that, tell you what I exactly mean. Here's the thing, when you're making a beat, there are a lot of elements that are important in this beat. You have to pay attention to them and you have to perfect them. Not perfect them, perfect is not the good word, but you have to make them good enough, decent enough, in the shortest span of time possible. But what I'm talking about are the details that maybe I was only obsessing over and no one else noticed. Like you might see on the internet a lot of people obsessing over 808s, kicks, snares, how the snare should be punchy, how the kick should be punchy, how the 808 should be earth shaking or something like that. That's one of my titles, but you know what I'm saying. Like, people are obsessing over these things. The truth is, a lot of people don't care about these things as much as we obsess over them. So I wish I hadn't overthought a lot of my beats. I wish I had just got done with a lot of my beats much sooner than I did. Because when you keep up with that routine of starting a beat and then finishing it ASAP, that can change your process of making beats more than you can imagine. And when you get used to that kind of work ethic, that's something amazing for an artist, for a producer, genuinely. I wish I knew that, and I wish I had implemented that routine into my work a lot sooner than I have. You know, there's this mindset between a lot of producers, not necessarily you, but a lot of producers who think, you know, every single beat should be treated as a whole project. That's just wrong. You don't need to obsess over beats, you don't need to perfect every single element in each beat, and you do not need to look at each beat as a project. The second thing I wish I knew, and something that a lot of people on YouTube don't want you to know, is that there are no secrets. There are no bloody secrets. There are no secret plugins, there are no secret VSTs, there are no secret things that would turn your beats into masterpieces in seconds. For instance, if you want to have hard hitting drums, you have to learn mixing and mastering. You have to figure out how it works, what makes a certain drum sound harder, what makes it sound softer, how to use them, which sounds go together, how frequencies work. You have to learn these things. There are no secret plugins that, you know, Metro Boomin uses and it turns his drums into bangers without anything else. If you have the knowledge, if you have the skills, if you have the experience to know what makes drums hard, what makes them sound fire, then maybe after that some plugins can add some sauce to them. But plugins on their own are not gonna do shit for you. The third thing I wish I knew is that practice makes perfect. So obviously, if you wanna be a good producer, you have to have a lot of connections, you have to know a lot of people, but before all of that, you have to have good beats. Like, that's just general rule of thumb. You have to have good beats. You gotta have good beats. You can't have trash beats and be a great producer even if you have dozens of connections. You gotta have good beats. How do you get good at producing? How do you get good at beat making? It's very simple. Through practice. You know, you see a lot of athletes who spend a lot of time practicing one single shot, doing it over and over and over again just to master it, but you don't see a lot of artists do that. Well, I'm not saying art is exactly the same as sports, but there are certain things that are very similar together. One of them being, if you want to get good at certain type of beats, certain techniques, just specific things that you want to improve in your producing, you just have to practice them. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. You have to practice. You have to make a lot of beats. You have to study a lot of beats. You have to fail and then learn and learn and learn and eventually be a master producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see Dr. Dre has amazing beats. You see Kanye West has amazing beats. You see Hit Boy having fantastic beats. They have made like millions of beats in order to learn the things that they know and be able to execute them as perfectly as possible. So practice makes perfect. There are no shortcuts like the previous point. There are no secrets. You literally have to gain experience and get better at what you do. That's it. And the last thing, but definitely not the least important one, that I wish I knew when I started producing is that there are dozens of other things outside of music and music production and your DAW that can affect how you feel about your music, how you feel about your beats, and what kind of beats do you make. Do you make good beats? Do you make perfect beats? Are your beats fire? Are your beats trash? It's not just all about music. It's not just all about the act of making the beat. You know what I'm saying? There are psychological things that can affect how you look at your beats and how your beats make you feel like, that have nothing to do with your music. Like, for example, if you have low self-confidence, some people call it self-esteem, but if you have low self-confidence, your beats are not gonna be good. And even if you make good beats, because your confidence is low, you're gonna feel like they are trash. So what's gonna happen? You either not gonna finish them, or you're not gonna publish them, or you are just going to delete them. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't feel good about yourself. Maybe something's going on in home, maybe something's going on at school, maybe something's going on with your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse in general, something that is making you feel kind of bad about yourself, and that has a direct effect to your music, to your art. Because here's the thing, art comes straight from your heart, straight from your soul. No matter how much you try to make it artificial, it's still something from inside you, from within you. And how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, how you see the world can directly, trust me, believe me, directly change your music. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very, very much for being here watching this video. I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourself and goodbye.